Welcome everyone to the Legacy in Action, the Building Series. Today we are honored to hear from John Ramos, author of Legacy in Action. In this episode, John unpacks one of the most critical realities in family enterprise and leadership, that growth must be supported by the right systems to protect unity, purpose, and long-term legacy. Get ready to gain practical wisdom on building enterprises that don't just grow bigger, but grow stronger and more sustainable.
There was a season in my life when we had vision, we had purpose, we even had unity, but we didn't have a system. The numbers didn't fail us. The people didn't betray us. What broke us was something quieter. It was the lack of a strong structure to carry the weight of growth. And that was the moment I learned this truth, that growth doesn't destroy families, and professional growth does. Welcome to the Legacy in Action podcast, the Building Series. I'm Jonathan Ramos, author of Legacy in Action. In our journey so far, we've done the inner work. We built personal stewardship, where we talked about clarity, discipline, self-leadership. We also strengthened unified cohesion, where we talked about alignment, trust, governance, and shared vision. Now comes the unavoidable question. You know what it is? Once unity is real, can the business carry it? Because here's the uncomfortable reality. Many families don't break because they lack love. They break because the fairness stayed informal while life became complex. And today, we step into pillar number 3, the enterprise growth. Not growth at any cost, but growth that protects unity, funds purpose, and endures beyond personalities. So let me ask you directly, is your business growing, or is it just getting bigger, heavier, and more fragile? Or is your family enterprise something that can stand without you? Or does everything still depends on your energy, presence, and emotional load? In Legacy in Action, enterprise growth is stewardship in execution. And today, I want to show you how to grow without breaking what matters most. And enterprise growth is not just expansion. In fact, it is the professionalization of purpose. It is a discipline of building systems that reduce emotional friction. Clarity, on the other hand, prevents conflict, accountability that sustains performance, and governance that protects relationships. Because a business that depends on one person's strength is not a legacy. It is, in fact, a liability. And I want to give you a framework that you can remember and apply. I call this grow without breaking. The 4 systems of enduring enterprise growth. 4 systems. These 4 systems determine whether a business becomes a platform for legacy or a pressure cooker that eventually explodes. So let's go to system number 1, direction system. I call it clarity before scale. Let's go back to chapter 5 of the Legacy in Action book entitled Hitting Rock Bottom. I shared how noble vision without structure still leads to collapse. You see, if you can remember in that story, we had heart, we had hustle, but we didn't have clear direction translated into metrics. So a direction system answers what are we willing, or what are we really trying to achieve? And how do we define success this year? And not vaguely, but measurably. Another question can be, what will we not pursue, even if it looks attractive? Without direction, ladies and gentlemen, growth becomes drift. So, in today's stewardship principle, I leave you with this very important principle. And it says, you cannot align people around ambiguity. Yes. So, let's ask ourselves, if I asked 3 leaders in your business, where are we going in the next 12 months? Would I get one answer or 3 different stories? Think about it. Moving on to system number 2, people system, I call it roles before relationship. And this is where many family enterprises silently suffer. As we all know, every family business, there is love. Trust exists, but roles are blurred. And when roles are blurred, emotions take over. A people system clarifies who decides, who executes, and who supports. But it also talks about who is accountable and for what. Clear roles don't weaken family bonds. They protect them because clarity removes resentment. So our stewardship principle is family harmony is preserved when expectations are explicit. So if conflict keeps repeating, don't ask yourself who's wrong. Ask which role is unclear. Right. So moving on to system number 3, the operating system. It's actually rhythm over heroics. Many businesses grew, or I'd say grow through heroics. Someone stays late, someone saves the day, and someone absorbs the chaos. That works, right? Until it doesn't. An operating system replaces exhaustion with rhythm. It defines how meetings happen, how decisions move, how problems are escalated, and foremost, how performance is reviewed. So that growth that relies on energy shouldn't be burned out. Yes, because growth that relies on rhythm are the ones that endures. Do you agree? So here's another stewardship principle. Consistency beats intensity. And if everything feels urgent all the time, you don't have a growth problem. And you know what? You have a system problem. Moving on to system number 4, the governance system. I call it fairness over power. This is where enterprise growth protects family unity, where governance is not controlling. It is fairness made available so that it creates clear decision rights, it creates predictability of processes, and there will be safe forums for disagreement, and foremost, there will be rules that apply even when emotions rise. So, good governance removes personalization so that issues don't become personal attacks. They become shared problems to solve. So here's the stewardship principle. When rules are clear, guess what? Relationship stays intact. This is what I've learned working with families in business for decades. When unity is real and systems are strong, growth stops being a threat. And so the business becomes a stabilizer, not a stressor. And the business becomes a platform, not a battleground. And foremost, the business becomes a vessel for purpose and not ego. That is enterprise growth in legacy in action. Not louder, not faster, but stronger and longer. So let's make this real. And here are your legacy moves for enterprise growth this week. Identify 1 recurring pain points and ask yourself, what problem keep showing up again and again. Don't fix everything. Just fix one thing really well. So, growth doesn't come from ambition alone. It comes from disciplined follow-through. In closing, enterprise growth is not about becoming corporate. It is about becoming sustainable. Because legacy is not built on passion alone. It is built on systems that outlive us. And as you reflect, ask yourself, which system is my enterprise is weakest right now? Wait. Which system in my enterprise is weakest right now? Start there, because when businesses are stewarded well, families stay united, purpose stays funded, and legacy stays in motion. I'm Jonathan Ramos, and this is Legacy in Action, the building series. And in our next episode, we move into pillar number 4, faith integration, where we explore how values become decision filters and purpose becomes non-negotiable, especially when growth tests our integrity. Until then, build with clarity, grow with stewardship, and live your legacy in action.
Thank you, John, for that powerful and deeply practical message on building enterprise growth that protects what matters most: our families, our purpose, and our legacy. And thank you to everyone who joined us for episode 6 of Legacy in Action, the building series. Join us again in our next episode as we move into the next pillar, where we explore how values shape decisions and how purpose remains non-negotiable, especially in times of growth and pressure. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to our channel. You can find more stories, reflections, and updates about Legacy in Action in the description below.